Thanks for joining us on National Focus. I'm Kerdisha St. In the headlines, Hurricane Irma decimates island in the Caribbean, and the Office of Disaster Management commends effective response of nation during Hurricane Irma. Stay with us for details of these and other developing stories after this.
I had a bleeding disorder that I did not know about, and they had to be transfusing me continuously. I got 56 units.
Being there at the blood bank, I was like, yo, I'm actually saving someone's life.
You never know when you can go.
Give blood.
I have done it, and believe it or not, it don't hurt.
I won't be scared. I'll give. You know you're gonna give blood. I'll make sure she does.
Sit down at the blood bank in a comfortable environment for 45 minutes.
Helping people.
You are stimulating your body to make brand new cells.
You get free cookies, you get juice.
Get to know your blood group. Feels good.
I felt as a better person.
It's a good thing to be alive, and I can thank God that I'm there and I'm enjoying life.
Protection from abuse is every child's right. Everyone has a shared responsibility in protecting the child from abuse.
Mothers, believe your children when they say they've been abused, and follow through with child abuse cases when they've been reported.
For more information on child abuse or to report suspected cases on child abuse, contact the Social Welfare Division on 33 Great Marlborough Street or call 266-3020 or 266-3080.
Thanks for staying with us. Hurricane Irma has wreaked havoc on a number of islands in the Lesser Antilles during its passage through the island chain on Tuesday and Wednesday. Islands such as Barbuda took a direct hit. The island was struck early Wednesday morning with maximum sustained winds of 185 miles per hour. While Prime Minister of the Twin Islands of Antigua and Barbuda praised the Twin Islands' preparedness for the passing of the hurricane, he described the helicopter view of Barbuda as heart-wrenching.
In fact, I believe that on a per capita basis, the extent of the destruction in Barbuda is unprecedented. And it is unprecedented based on the type of storm. I mean, Hurricane Irma would have been easily the most powerful hurricane to have stormed through the Caribbean. And it is extremely unfortunate that Barbuda was right in its path. And what is instructive is that a difference of 30 to 50 miles involving a hurricane could make a major difference. Because whereas we may have had miles or wind strengths up to about 100 and probably 30 miles per hour, Barbuda evidently would have had 180, 185 miles per hour. And that has made a fundamental difference. From my observation, having done an aerial survey, I would say that about 95% of the properties would have suffered some level of damage. They would have lost at least a part of their roofs. Some have lost whole roofs. Some properties have been totally demolished. It is absolutely heart-wrenching.
My name is Rhoda. I grew up in Barbuda. I witnessed Hurricane Lewis, and compared to that, this has been something that I've never imagined experiencing. It was horrible, it was devastating, it was sad, and it was tragic. And to see and hear everything that happened, being in the middle of it, being here, it's the most horrible thing that could happen here or anywhere else in the world.
About the weather last night, it was very, very, very dangerous, and my home get destroyed. My family, we don't have any way really to go. We have to be by our mom, and also my mom's house get destroyed also.
There was one fatality reported. The Prime Minister said flooding of the island poses a threat of waterborne diseases. He described the island, which is home to about 1,600, as barely habitable and has made special arrangements to relocate Barbudans to Antigua. The Prime Minister estimates that at least $150 million is needed for the initial rebuilding efforts. Both the French and Dutch side of St. Martin also took a pounding from the storm, and the social media videos which has surfaced reveal the total devastation of the world-famous Princess Juliana International Airport. The monster storm flew containers, vehicles, ripped roofs, and just about shredded everything in its path, leaving extensive damage to homes, business places, and public infrastructure. In a statement on Thursday, Dominica's Prime Minister announced that Dominica stands ready to support the hurricane-ravaged islands.
Dominica stands ready to support with the little resources that we have. Once the assessment is received and the indication of what kind of support these islands would need, then Dominica would support. Because one cannot forget the tremendous outpouring of love and solidarity in 2015 following Tropical Storm America. So we understand what these islands will be going through. We understand the challenges and the expression of solidarity in a tangible way to these countries would certainly help in a huge way. So our thoughts and prayers, our hope is that there'll be no loss of lives in these islands, and that the rebuilding process will commence immediately after the storm would have passed.
The tiny island of St. Bart's also took a hit, along with the British Virgin Islands of Tortola and Virgin Gorda. Social media videos surfacing from these islands also show the grim reality of the devastation wrought by the Category 5 hurricane. In more news, following the passage of Hurricane Irma, a Category 5 hurricane which affected Dominica on Tuesday, September 5th, Dominica's Office of Disaster Management is reporting that it is pleased with the quick and effective response of the general public.
Well, I think that the public responded excellent with regards to Irma, and I think that was as a result of preparedness activities, like you said, public information, and efficient information dissemination to the general public.
And in terms of the dissemination of information by your office, do you think that that was done in an effective manner and in a very rapid manner as well?
Yes, it was done in an effective manner. We collaborate closely with the Meteorological Office, which is the agency on island responsible for gathering the information, and we work closely with them, and we will put out the information on time in a timely manner.
As it relates to other organizations with you collaborating, such as the CERT team and the Dominica Red Cross and these other organizations, how do you think their response was?
The umbrella organization called NEPO convened a meeting just before Irma approached the island chain. This organization is headed by the Honorable Prime Minister, so that means to say we have support from the highest level on island, together with key players. We have the subcommittees, we have NGOs, private sector, DOMLEC, the WASCO, the Red Cross, and the Met Service. And all in all the agencies responded quite good.
As we're still speaking on information, I know that you mentioned concerns regarding the use of social media in spreading information, because some information can be lost in translation. What would you comment on that?
The advent of social media, this, like you said, can be very good, and also it can be very bad. In terms of its usefulness, its ease of transferring the message from the sender to the user, so that means the people on the recipient can get the information on time. On the flip side of this, the sender may not be the official source, and that is where the trouble starts.
Okay, so where would you recommend to people go to get current and up-to-date and real-time information?
Well, like I said earlier on, the Meteorological Service is the agency on island responsible for the monitoring and the dissemination of all relevant information as it pertains to weather hazards. So the Met Service would be the primary agency responsible for dissemination of the information, and the ODM comes in as the national coordinating agency.
And as it relates to Hurricane Jose, which is forming, which I know you all are monitoring, can you give us a status update?
We continue to monitor Hurricane Jose, and at 11 a.m. this morning, It was about 715 miles east of the island chain, maximum sustained winds 90 miles per hour expected in our area on Saturday morning, about 100 miles north of Dominica. The islands of the Leeward Islands have been placed on the tropical storm watch, that is Antigua, Montserrat, St. Kitts Nevis, basically the same islands which were affected by Hurricane Irma.
And have you all been in contact with the different offices of preparedness in those islands as well that were affected?
Yes, through the coordinating agency, CDIMA, the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, we have received situation reports from these islands, and we are compiling damage assessment needs analysis for further action.
What would you tell the general public in relation to getting ready for the possible impact of Hurricane Jose in few coming days?
Keep on monitoring official sources of information, and like you said, step up your preparation game if the authorities deem that we are under a warning situation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pascal.
Welcome.
I had a good time in town last weekend, a pretty girl.
Jerry, next time when you're going on?
When we get paid Friday, we can go.
Tongue girl pretty, but them do anything for money. Careful, you might catch it.
Them girl pretty. Them girl can't get it.
You think it's only ugly women have AIDS? Anybody could get it. If you get sick, what you gonna tell your wife?
Your wife, come in.
Hey, change the topic. Change the topic.
Your family depends on you. Don't take home AIDS.
I believe in the natural order of things. I believe in the harmony of things. You know, in everything we do, we have to keep it natural. I've been doing farming for now over a decade. My day is very hectic, but I make it light. You know, because I enjoy what I do. I enjoy producing the best quality goods and to make sure that the people that receive it, they receive the best that they can ever get. Right from the farm, everything that I grow, I process them back into the farm so that these same things that grow in the farm is what protects the farm. Tourism is my business. You know, it's not just dealing with the foreigners that come in, but it's preparing those things that when they come, they can feel and taste the difference in coming to this exotic island. And it starts with the farmer, because we provide the things that they eat, that they taste, that they drink. I believe in my heart that it's my responsibility to provide quality. My name is Tony Alves, and tourism is my business.
The Office of Disaster Management is calling on residents to maintain their high level of preparedness in light of Hurricane Jose, which is nearing the Leeward Islands. Jose, a Category 2 hurricane, which is expected to strengthen to a major hurricane by the weekend, is about 715 miles to the east of the Lesser Antilles as of 11 a.m., and watches have already been issued for portions of the Leewards. The most recent calculation puts Jose at its closest point to Dominica on Saturday, September 9th, with a distance of about 120 miles to the north of the island. Residents are therefore advised to finalize all preparatory activities for the hurricane should it pose any danger to Dominica. According to the ODM, the general public must continue to monitor the progress of Hurricane Jose and listen to advisories put out by the Dominica Meteorological Service. Given seas are still agitated from Hurricane Irma, fishermen have been advised not to venture out until after Hurricane Jose, and small craft operators must remain in port. Persons living in low-lying areas or close to rivers or other waterways should be on alert during heavy rainfall activity and move to safer areas if need be. Persons in areas prone to flooding, landslides, and falling rocks should be vigilant and exercise extreme caution if they must move around. Also, persons living in the coastline should be mindful of storm surges, as above normal sea activity is expected as Hurricane Jose continues to move across the area. Meantime, the Dominica Air and Seaport Authority are continuing to monitor Hurricane Jose, which is expected to affect Dominica over the weekend. On Wednesday, GIS News spoke to acting CEO of the Dominica Air and Seaports Authority, Ms. Lynn Valerie.
What we have decided in our preliminary discussions this morning, that's with management, both airports and seaports, the preparations that we have made, most of it are going to remain. But anything that is going to hinder normal operations in terms of movement of personnel equipment, we will clear this for now. But we are monitoring Hurricane Jose, the upcoming storm, hurricanes, closely, and we'll continue to take whatever measures that we need to ensure that that lives of persons and property are safe.
The summer vacation is over and it's back to school this week for students across the island. Through assistance of government, many students are able to return to school with all the necessary school supplies for learning. The same is true in the Cottage constituency, where the Honorable Member of Parliament, Reginald Austrie, is ensuring that all students in his jurisdiction are ready for the classroom.
We have adopted a policy that no child should be left behind and that no child should be out of school because they don't have new uniforms, because they don't have transportation, because they don't have textbooks. And for the last almost throughout our entire life as a government, we have been providing on an annual basis the necessary implements and books and whatever is required for children to go to school. This year has been no different. We have been supplying the students with books, we have been supplying the students with uniforms, we have been renewing the contracts of bus drivers to ensure that our children can continue to get to school. We are continuing with the assistance to college students attending college. My students have been receiving assistance to college for the last 3 or 4 years. It will continue this year. I've already submitted the list to the Ministry of Finance, to the Prime Minister, so we can make the necessary resources available. We have held meetings with those students, tell them what we expect of them, encouraging them that the only way out of poverty is through education.
Honorable Austrie made this appeal to parents to ensure that all children are ready for school in the new school year.
If there's any child in my constituency or any child across the country who is not ready for school, who have any challenges in going to school, to immediately get in touch with your parliamentary representative, immediately get in touch with me, immediately get in touch with the Prime Minister's office, and we will ensure that you're given all the necessary support and assistance that is required to ensure that every single child who is of school age, whether at the preschool level, early childhood institutions, or at the primary school level, at the high school level, or at the college level, any child experiencing, or any parent experiencing any challenge whatsoever in going to school or being ready for school by the beginning of the new school year should contact any PALREP, no matter whether he's from your constituency or not, whether you're from Granby, from Dailies. If you have access to me, call me, I'll get in touch with your PALREP, I'll get in touch with the Prime Minister, I'll get in touch with the Minister of Education to ensure that come the opening of school next week, that you will be ready to attend school.
Before we leave, here are 2 announcements. Residents of Grand Bay and environs are invited to the 17th inaugural meeting of the Grand Fall Village Council on Monday, September 11, 2017 at 4 p.m. at the Grand Bay Community Center. Please make every effort to attend and be on time. The general public is hereby notified that alternative arrangements will be made for the hosting of the Cassiburs Village Council inaugural meeting, which was scheduled for 4 p.m. at the Cassiburs Primary School. The Ministry of Social Services, Family and Gender Affairs apologizes for any inconvenience caused. That's news. Coming up next, your tip of the day.
It is time to break the silence. Child abuse is one secret you should not keep. For more information on child abuse or to report suspected cases on child abuse, contact the Social Welfare Division on 33 Great Marlborough Street or call 266-3020 or 266-3080.
Here are some tips to protect yourself and family during a hurricane. Do not go outside unless it is absolutely necessary. When the winds get very strong, you are in danger of being hit by flying objects. Children should not be taken outside since they may be in danger of being blown away. If you are away from home, remain where you are until the hurricane has passed. Many people have lost their lives trying to go from one place to another. and keep a hurricane lamp burning, as it may be able to make the night more tolerable. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow our Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. Live streaming is also available on our YouTube channel 24 hours a day. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I'm Kerdisha St. Thanks for watching.